Today's video is a bit vulnerable and scary because as a time management coach, I'm sharing with you my biggest time management mistake. However, I'm sharing it with you because hopefully you resonate with this. At the end of this video, you will know why it's so important not to make this mistake and how it is costing you so much time and energy in your life and business. Are you ready? Before we dive in, I just wanted to say hi real quick. My name is Becca Rich. I am the Holistic Time Coach, and I help successful entrepreneurs step off the hamster wheel of endless productivity and start making time freedom a reality in their life and business. So when lockdown started, I got probably 10 emails from a bunch of different companies offering free art classes and finance classes and knitting classes and all these different things that I could do now that I had the time. Guess what I did? I signed up for all of them. And I really felt deep down that I needed to make the most of this time that we were now having being stuck inside of our homes. If you did, hit the like button below just to tell me that, yes, I feel you, Becca. Tell me I'm not alone in this. This is a super small example of a bigger picture sort of issue that we have as humans in our society today. On a normal basis, pre-pandemic, pre-COVID, we are bombarded with productivity hacks and tips and tricks and tools and all these things to make our time as productive as possible. If you Google productivity, you will get around 500 million results. When we are students in school as children, we are rewarded for getting the most done, the quickest possible, the best output. We're impressed by people who can pull all-nighters, and in our industry, entrepreneurs boast about working 80 hours a week and never sleeping or having time for themselves. Rarely do we celebrate people who have a healthy work balance, who get a good night's sleep, who take care of themselves, and have tons of time off and to rest and to do whatever they want. So when the pandemic hit globally and in the United States, we didn't have our commutes to our 9-to-5s. We didn't have plans with friends or really family. We had nothing else to do. We could finally get to all of the house projects and courses and books and starting the business and growing the business even more. A statistic that just backs up what I'm saying is Home Depot increased their revenue by 20%. From February 2020 to January 2021, they made $132 billion in revenue. So yeah, it's cool that we had this extra time, so-called extra time in our lives to do all of these projects. We felt at the same time like our output would be the exact same or even better during a huge shift, really traumatic, huge shift in society. Tons of people have lost family members and loved ones. Like this was continues to be a traumatic event, and we continue to expect ourselves to be productive at the expense of our humanness. And so over the last year, I guess a little bit more than the last year now that we are in June of 2021, toxic productivity is the biggest time management mistake we can all make. And it was mine, even being someone who knew how important resting and taking time off was, who wanted to be intentional and slow and live with ease and freedom. I was still pressuring myself to be productive at the expense of the things that I thought I valued and I thought I cared about. Why is toxic productivity a mistake? I had a client recently ask me, why is it such a mistake, or why is it a bad thing that I want to be productive, I want to work, I want to build my business? And I want to say there is nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to grow the thing that you are passionate about, the business, the life that you are trying to create. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be productive. It's when toxic productivity is added into the mix. So when it becomes toxic, when you only care about productivity and making every single moment productive and have an output and have a result, you are chasing after something that is not really ever going to happen. We believe there's this fallacy of productivity is that we'll finally get everything on our to-do list done, one day, right? And so we're always doing more and more and more and more to try and get to that one day where we can rest and take time off and make time for ourselves. Productivity becomes toxic when all you do is try and get to that one day, and that's what creates that hamster wheel. I'm like doing this like hand motion of this like hamster wheel because it never happens. Your to-do list will never end. And when you believe you'll finally get to that one day, the things that you do get done feel like never enough, and that creates a lot of self-confidence issues. It causes unhealthy self-care habits. You start to put your worth into your productivity and the output that you create, and that has a lot of detrimental impacts in your business and in your life. And I've shared this story quite a bit, but it's something that feels like an unconscious choice. And so for my personal experience, I was in the hospital with an intestine infection, never really had major health issues prior to this, and I developed a severe intestine infection and was in the hospital trying to get a deadline complete. I had my computer with me in the hospital trying to work on an English essay when I was in college as an engineering major. I didn't care about really English at all. Sorry to my teacher. But like I didn't care about English, and yet I was unconsciously, sort of subconsciously choosing to be productive over than resting and caring about myself. And so that's how bad it can get. Obviously, that is a pretty like severe rock bottom in terms of, burnout and productivity. It doesn't have to be severe at all. It can just be you unable to sit on the couch and enjoy an evening with your family or even with yourself. You have trouble sitting still and resting. You continue to work when you know that you're tired and achy and not in the mood to work. You feel like being bored is a bad thing, and there's this just constant need for self-improvement and just more, which leads to a lot of impacts on our mental health, our physical health. It leads to depression and anxiety, strained relationships. Obviously, I just mentioned if you're unable to sit with your family present and spend time with them, that is going to cause a disconnect with you and your family. Just being tired and continuing to work, you are choosing work over yourself. And that, like I said, leads to a lot of mistrust, self-mistrust. So if you relate to any of the things that I just mentioned, as that's my sort of experience, and that is the experience of many of the clients that I work with, I wanted to share with you 2 super simple things that I had to do and that I help my folks do as well in my coaching program. There are so many things that you can do to start reversing the impacts of toxic productivity and hustle culture. The first thing that you can do is reframing what productive means to you. And so what I mean by this is a lot of people think, like I mentioned, Netflix didn't feel productive to me. A lot of times we think like just resting and relaxing, spending time with family isn't productive. And I would love to just like cut that out, like 100%. It is productive. Anything that is of value or importance to you is productive to you being alive, to you being a human. It's not just work. It is not just creating results and output. Anything that means something to you is productive. And I will say this over and over and over and over and over again. But once you figure out what is of value or what is important to you, then just remind yourself every time that you spend time on those things, you're being productive. The second tip that I want to share with you is the best lifestyle is a healthy lifestyle. There are so many statistics and studies coming out around how being healthy is the best thing you can do for work, for your productivity, for your business, for yourself, for your family. Your health is the most important thing. And so when you are falling into the biggest time management mistake, aka toxic productivity, you put work over health, work over self. So putting your health number 1 is the most basic thing that you can do to step off the hamster wheel. At the end of the day, we need to rest. We need to train ourselves to put ourselves first. The next question that you are going to ask me is how? How do I reframe what's productive? How do I put myself first? How do I make like a healthier lifestyle, a healthier work-life balance, whatever you want to call it? And there is no one solution. I can't give you in this short YouTube video what the how is. The how it comes from inside of you. It is unique to you, which is beautiful because that means it's going to work. You just have to figure out what is inside of you and how to make that happen. So if you want to step off of the toxic productivity hamster wheel, if you want to be mentally and physically healthier and happier, if you want to be more compassionate with yourself, if you want to feel like there is all of the time in the world for everything that you need to get done, that's what this whole channel is about. I know how hard it is to peel yourself away from your laptop, from work, from your business that you're building. I know how hard it is when you know how toxic productivity mindset can be and yet still fall victim to it and not be able to rest and put myself first, take time off. And so if that's you, you are in good company here. Trust me when I say that. I am here to help you break up with toxic productivity and step off that hamster wheel and just start resting and start living life in the way that you want to. If you resonated with my biggest time management mistake, super vulnerable and scary to share as a time management coach, let me know in the comments below if this video made sense to you, if you resonate with what I've said and you want to do something about it. And if you haven't already, I have a quiz that will help you start using your uniqueness to develop your how you are going to make time freedom a reality in your life and business. This quiz will give you so much insight on how you're managing your time today and how you hope to be managing your time in the coming days.